Hey friends, this is an active quad and hip flexor activation and release. So it's a form of self-myofascial release technique. You're going to want a chair or a block or a stool. Depending on how tight your quads and hip flexors are, you may need a different height than where I'm at. It's nice to have a yoga blocker too, because you can use them. If you're very tight, you can just stack those on the floor and you'll have a nice low height. Or if you find a chair isn't quite high enough, you can stack your blocks on top of that and get a little more height. So obviously this depends on your physical structure, your own height, as well as the tension and tightness within the quads and hip flexors. So I'm set up here in between this chair and this dresser, which is great because I actually have a little support. Now you can also do this near a wall. You can do it without anything nearby, just depends on your own balance. So this just happened to line up and it works out really lovely. So first you want to square your feet, so get nice and parallel with your feet, and then do try to observe as you move your weight to one foot, if your foot begins to laterally rotate or inward rotation, or if your weight distributes funny. You just first want to observe it, and over time you want to get better at trying to keep that foot parallel and distributing your weight a little more evenly, okay? And again, that will be easier if you do have a little support, because you can shift your weight and support yourself there as you lose the one foot. So it's natural, you're going to shift your weight a little bit just to get up where you need to be. So now you're putting the front of the shin, top of the foot, all on whatever your prop is, and then you're trying to line your hips up still, okay? So it's natural, you might fall like this, like see how my hip kind of shifted. We want to maintain more level pelvic and hip alignment here, okay? So sometimes having the hands on the hips can be nice because you'll notice if you shift your weight more. So hands on hips, foot on the ground planted, foot in the chair, leg in the chair or on blocks. And from here, we're going to just begin to press that foot and front of the shin into your prop, okay? And depending on if you're on blocks and you don't have as much surface area, just having the foot and ankle is going to be fine, okay? Foot and ankle making contact with whatever surface you're on. So breathing in and out, always press on an exhale, always relax on an exhale. And so then relaxing it, letting everything kind of fall, just let things be how they want. And then big breath in. As you exhale, press the foot and shin into your prop. Feel everything activate. Glutes will activate. Again, notice if hips shift, and try and keep those parallel and level, and just notice what's going on. Now, if you're not feeling anything in the front of the leg, then you probably want to get a little bit more. And so if this is accessible to you, that kind of typical stretch that we all did in gym class or high school sports or whatever, this kind of quad stretch is great. But what the one most of us learned was passive, right? So you're just hanging out like this. Now what we're doing right now together is activating. So you can see how that's really different, right? And you can really see it in the hips. So look, this is all disengaged. This is what most of us did, and this really does almost nothing. So you want to get a better grip closer to your ankle. And again, you see how then just before I'm even really active, I'm lining up. So knee is pressing towards the floor, big breath in, and my belly button's towards my spine. My upper body is nice and engaged, just gently. But yeah, big breath in and exhale. Press the foot into the hand, foot or ankle into the hand. Now you might feel this other places than the quad as well. And the more you bring this back, the more opening and activation you're going to feel in those hip flexors. So big breath in and exhale, relax it. Now we're trying to get a little bit more stretch in there, okay? And it's okay if your hips shift. You can see how I'm shifting. You can see why a wall or something is nice to have in front of you for some support. You don't have to have it, but again, that's your personal balance. and we want to be more focused on engagement and relaxation and stretch than we are about wobble. Okay, so big breath in, exhale, press, and exhale, relax. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other side. And it's okay if your other side feels totally different, no big deal. You may have way more range, you may have way less range. It's not really about judgment or bad, it's just about observation and awareness. And then you begin to level those out if you do this regularly, okay? And you help to shift your own awareness of your posture patterns and your movement patterns. So that's really the gift of all of it. But let's go ahead, hands on hips, foot planted on the ground, other foot up on your prop, wherever that is for you, and then adjusting as needed, okay? Big breath in, exhale, press, good. Big inhale, exhale, relax. And you can either stay where you are if that felt like you were getting some good activation, good stretch in the front of the quad and hip flexor. If not, go ahead and get yourself a little higher, or maybe engaging there right in that kind of typical flamingo type stretch. Big breath in, exhale, and press the foot into the hand or into your prop. Good. Keep breathing, keep pressing. Notice if you are balancing, like you just saw mine shifted, pay attention to that, because that's showing you compensation, where your muscles go, yeah, I'm really strong, and they pull you into it. But we should be strong in our grounded foot and leg as well. Big breaths. Relax it. Good. And big deep inhale. And remember, we're stretching a little more with every relaxing breath. Exhale, press. Good. And then another big breath in. Exhale, relax it. Great. So honor your body here. Make sure that your knees always feel safe, and know that sometimes you can get a great activation, wonderful release, without it feeling like, ooh, I'm really stretching that. It's really about awareness and activating and releasing, okay? So I hope you enjoy that one. And again, come back to that. If you know that you chronically have tight hip flexors, or you're getting a lot of back pain, this can be a really helpful tool. So we want to repeat all of these, okay? Do them on the regular. Maybe this one's every day for a bit for you. Maybe it's 3 times a week. You'll find your pattern. All right, enjoy.